Good evening, all. Happy St. George's Day, 23rd of April. And to those who know the old language, Werrien Si Ankle Sin. As you can see, I've got my English t shirt on. And the St. George flag is flying high proudly in the house. Interestingly enough, today, Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn has decided to come out and say that he supports a bank holiday for the day of our patron saint. Well done, Jeremy. I'm obviously very much in favour of that. I've been calling for that for a number of years, as have my friends from the Campaign for an English Parliament and other patriotic Englishmen. However, I can't help but feel that this is once again another vain attempt by Labour to pander to get more votes rather than actually having any substance to it. So why do I say this? Well, a couple of years ago when Jeremy Corbyn was running for Labour leadership, he had a public meeting in Ealing and some friends of mine from the CEP went along to ask a couple of questions. And at that time, Eddie Bone from the CEP asked a question from the audience: why is there a Scottish Labour and a Welsh Labour? Why isn't there an English Labour? And Jeremy Corbyn made it quite clear that he wasn't in favour of an English Labour Party. So Eddie tried to catch up with him for a chat immediately afterwards. I've got it on video. It's on my website at englishpatriot.co.uk. I've got it up on my screen at the moment, and the title of the blog post is called "The Anti-English Voice of Jeremy Corbyn." And the reason why it's the anti-English voice of Jeremy Corbyn was when Eddie caught up with him for a chat. He turned round and, well, I'll read it out to you. Eddie said, I have a question to be answered. And Jeremy Corbyn responded, there are English regions which have regional Labour parties, as does Scotland and Wales, and there is the Labour Party. The membership decide. So Eddie replied, so you're happy to see them broken up into regions? And Jeremy Corbyn then stated, there has never been a collective voice for England. So there you have it. As far as Jeremy Corbyn's concerned, England, a country with over 1,000 years of history, in his eyes, doesn't exist. He doesn't want an English Labour Party. He's quite happy to have a Scottish Labour Party and a Welsh Labour Party, and I've got no problem with that. But if you're gonna have a Scottish and a Welsh Labour Party, surely you must have an English Labour Party as well. You can't just have. Well, actually, he goes further than the other parties who, by saying that England needs to be broken up into regions. Now, I wonder where we've heard that before. Oh yes, Brussels. They want England broken up into 9 regions, so it'll be easy to manage, and we won't act, as our country has always done down the centuries, as a bulwark against a totalitarian state trying to impose their will on everybody else. So I will say this to the people watching this video: don't fall for the propaganda. Jeremy Corbyn doesn't really want a bank holiday for St. George's Day. He doesn't even recognise the English as a peoples or a nation. This is just purely the Labour Party once again trawling for votes, thinking that they've ignored the English, and particularly the English working class, for years. But let's say a couple of words and make a few gestures, and they'll vote for us again. So I'm not falling for it, Jeremy, and anybody watching this video shouldn't fall for it, especially as we know quite well from years past, both yourself and John McDonnell, your anti-English actions. Hey, I met the IRA as well, but in my case it was the Ickenham Residents Association, not the IRA that you met. Catch you all later. Enjoy the rest of St. George's Day. I'm going to be having a couple of pints and raising a glass to the patron saint. Admittedly, he's not the original patron saint of England, but we'll raise a glass and recognise St. George. I've got a little glass here. Cheers.